Honestly, I think it's a great message because, like I say, so many people don't to sacrifice the other stuff in the pursuit of the thing.
Yeah.
But actually, you'll probably do the thing better if you do that.
100% you will.
At the start. But sometimes I think people think it's counterproductive to
Yeah.
do that and take time away from work for yourself.
But it's even
less, right?
It's even days like this. I was talking to somebody out there when we were just getting a coffee. You know, days like this where probably a lot of people in the room were like, "Oh, I've got so much on, and I need to do this." But actually, you've taken the day, and you've taken the day to be looking at your business rather than spending the day in your business, surrounded by like-minded people. And even if you take one thing away from today, you're going to be so much better tomorrow than you would have been if you'd have just stayed doing the same thing.
Definitely.
And I always think that you never regret doing it. You never ever regret taking the time, ever. You don't regret the weekend away. You don't regret the surrounding yourself with like-minded people. You don't regret going to an event. You don't regret listening to people. You don't regret the things that take your head out of the daily grind, ever, because it does make you better tomorrow. And I think it's important that we do it. And I mean, I commend everybody in here for, you know, turning up to an event like this where actually everybody will walk away with at least one thing. Which is great.
Sure. I love it, man. Thank you so much. Let's do some questions. Actually, one more. Just because quite a few people have asked me to ask you this. From a female perspective, what, like, a lot of people are saying it's stressful being a mum, and obviously it is. What advice would you give, right, for the women in the audience, running businesses, busy careers, busy lives, as well as being mums? What would you say to the females in the audience?
I mean, firstly, you're all brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And I think one of the things that I notice more and more with women, and this is a gross generalization, but it is from my experience, is that often that lack of belief in themselves to sort of step forward. And some of the most amazing people I have met, worked with, spoken to, have been women. And we are great at multitasking and great at getting a lot of stuff done. And it is that having that belief in yourself that's so important. I mean, I was in just a really quick story. And it was the most powerful thing that ever happened to me as a woman. But actually, it's not. This isn't unique to women at all. So this could work for others. When I was in my 20s, and when I was doing this job, when I was working for the board of Pizza Express that we talked about before, we were buying Kettners in Soho, and I was leading the project. And I'd gone to the meeting in Soho, and I was 2 minutes late, because I'm always 2 minutes late for everything. And apparently the least stressed people are actually always 2 minutes late for everything. But anyway.
I'm just pointing at my wife there because she's late for absolutely everything.
I'm always 2 minutes late for everything. Anyway, so I turned up, and as I walked into the room, our team was on this side of the table, and their team was on the opposite side of the table, and the lawyer for the people Kettner's group was sat opposite, and he didn't even look up, and I must have been 27, I think, at the time, 26, 27, and he didn't even look up, and he went, "Oh, thank God for that, mine's white with one sugar." And so I put my bag down and walked round and said, "Would anybody else like a coffee?" And I made him his coffee. Nobody else breathed, funnily enough. Made him his coffee, put the coffee in front of him, made myself a coffee and sat back down, and then said, so shall we start the meeting now? And I watched the colour drain from this guy's face in front of me. And it was such a powerful moment for me, and to happen early on in my work life, because up until that point, I'd walked into rooms fearing that I would be completely underestimated. You know, that I was just Sarah the Small from Stoke, and like, what was I doing here? And everyone was going to work me out and all of that. And who walked out with the deal in that meeting? Of course it was me. Of course it was, because he had completely underestimated me.
Yeah.
And he was totally on the back foot. And it was so powerful, and it never left me, because it made me walk into rooms thinking, God, I hope everybody underestimates me. You know, I hope they do, because it made me realize that my superpower, actually, in that moment, had been because the fact that he'd underestimated me. And I think as a woman working, growing up in the 90s, that was it was such an incredible thing to have happened to me really early on, that it never left me. So, yeah, I always say to anybody who walks into a room and thinks maybe this is the moment you're going to get found out, or I'm being underestimated, to remind everybody that that's actually their superpower, so let them.
Use it in a damn